Good evening. Happy Friday weekend, everybody. If it is your Friday or if it's Saturday, if you're on the other side of the world, I hope you're having a good one. Hello, Janae, Tittle, and everyone that is watching from whatever platform. I've got a few brief updates. I just wanted to tie up some loose ends that are floating around here. Not enough for a whole really, really long amount of a show, but just to keep you're up to date about what's going on, especially with the first one I want to talk about, which is Chad Daybell, because his trial is scheduled for April 1st at 9 a.m. in Ada County Courthouse with Judge Boyce. It will be live streamed, and per notification of the court, witnesses, the judge, and the actual attorneys can be on file. They will not be focusing on the defense table on Chad Daybell, though, and no jury. Okay. There was also an order that says that the jury process of questioning in camera will not be open to the public. Only the defense and attorneys, counsel for both sides, shall be present for that, and that is to protect jury members, possible jury members, and etc. Hopefully my sound is coming through okay. I didn't even ask you at first. I just jumped right in because it's going to be a short one. Thanks for the ordering, Mark. Thank you. Oh, hi, Mark. It's good to see you. Mippit, what the beck? Hey, how to see you? Thank you, Shill, for being here. Mippit for being here. To Maud, thank you. It's good to see you all. Um, well, on Chad Daybell, they had a motion behind closed doors on Friday, and those motions were in regards to some testimony in regards to Lori Vallow's sister. That's been contested in an expert witness. That was closed. We don't even, thank you so much, Mark. We don't even get to see what that is about. That is under seal. We're not going to actually even see what the decision with that is until we're in court on whether or not that gets played. But it does seem like the prosecution was agreeing that parts of that would have been too much. It does look like they was behind doors because even speaking about it could have jeopardized a fair trial for the defendant. Also, it says in the closing order. All right. So once we find out more about that, we'll let you know. But the order to transfer Chad Daybell to the Ada County Court is in place. He must be transferred from Fremont County Jail to the Ada County Jail by the 22nd of this month. That order came through at the beginning of last week. Okay, so we are still on track for the trial. Okay, there was a little bit of closed door squabbling about some evidence in some witness testimony, but we shall see what happens. We're going to be able to put up the witness list as soon as that whole thing gets actually unsealed, which would be probably at trial because then it won't matter for prejudicial purposes and etc. But that's what I have today on Chad Daybell. We're still going forth with that attorney. It is still a death penalty case if he is found guilty. Remember, he's got all those charges of conspiracy, the murder of his wife, Tammy Daybell. He's also got an insurance charge, an insurance fraud charge, and theft by deception or something like that. Grand theft, I believe. He's got a lot on his plate, and he still has the death penalty there that has not been removed. But it does appear that we will be using Judge Boyce's YouTube site for the trials as it goes on. Each day it will be live, but it doesn't get saved there. So we're going to save it for prosperity on April 1st at 9 a.m. This when we're going to start, and we will do like we did with other live trials, but that's one we're going to follow all the way through. Okay, so there we go with that. Hello, Mousy. Hey, Wrecker. Hey, Sue. Nice to see you guys. Okay, so I don't see any questions in regards to Chad Daybell. Not that there's really much to ask about, right? Because a lot of that's under seal still. Let's move on to Bryan Kohberger. The update on Bryan Kohberger is that he has the Supreme Court of Idaho, not the federal Supreme Court, but the Supreme Court of Idaho has refused to take on his appeal of judge's overturn of the actual trying to get the whole case thrown out based on the grand jury instructions. Remember, probable cause, probability versus reasonable doubt. Well, probable one out, and the judge in that case refused to even deny the motion to have everything thrown out based on it. And they have lost their battle on the Supreme Court level because they won't even hear the case. It's not relevant. Now, a lot of the legal voices that I watch and that I take note of, we're a little surprised because it is a hot ticket item in Idaho in regards to this, in regards to the Idaho Constitution, in regards to the wording, and they thought it could settle it if they actually heard it and put it to rest. What happens, from what I understand now, is because the Idaho Supreme Court didn't hear it, it will actually be open for appeal at the end of the trial. Now, it's a death penalty case. We know there's going to be an appeal anyway. Appeals get granted on death penalty cases as a matter of recourse. Okay. But it does give them an option to go through it at that time. Well, we'll see. It could make things, afterwards be a problem. The legal communities, most of it that I was listening to, was actually looking forward to getting that issue solved for Idaho, the whole state of Idaho, in many cases, solved ahead of time. But that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen in the Kohberger case. Okay. The other thing that happened in the Chad Daybell case that actually brings it to us too is that they asked for a special prosecutor to join the case. Okay. Lindsay Blake asked for the special prosecutor to join for this death penalty case. Remember, they had another AG assisting them who stepped down, who was purposely hired for the Vallow case based on, did her experiences with death penalty. Then the death penalty was removed, and they thought that she would be staying for she helped in preparation of the Chad Daybell case. So, they were definitely on track for that. But for whatever reason, she had left, and they did say that, they did say that she would definitely she had done the work that she did, and they didn't say that there was any problem with anything going on. But we don't know what it was: personality differences, or just money, or just timing of other trouble obligations that she had. There was quite a bunch of delays in this. So it's hard. It's hard to actually say. We probably never will know why they actually left, but they did. And there is a new AG. You know what? The name is skipping my mind. I got it. She's really famous too. Her name is Ingrid Bailey, and she's got a lot of death penalty case experience. She's going to be hired on to the whole DA the whole Idaho's DA roster, and she's going to be in charge of a lot of stuff, and she may even be doing work on the Kohberger case in the future. But currently, she's assigned to this trial here for April 1st for Chad Daybell for the prosecution. She's been appointed to help get that all done. They're kind of spread thin a little bit with all of these cases, and especially death penalty cases require a lot more work. And so they have hired someone else. Ingrid Bailey will be Deputy Attorney General, Ingrid Bailey from the Idaho AG department will be over there helping them in that county with the trial going forward. So there we go. So hey Juju, hey Jasper, it's good to see you both. All right. So any questions in regards to that with Kohberger? They're still going back and forth. We do not have a date for a trial, but on May 14th we have another hearing, and that will be in regards to the change of venue motion, and I guess anything else that might be outstanding. I don't know if we're going to get a trial date at that time, but remember in the last hearing, the prosecution even was pushing for 2025. So yeah, that, which was surprising for me. I thought that they would want to go a little bit sooner. Okay. For those of you that like the records here for Chad Daybell and Here's the Idaho government site where these are high profile cases, so the records are all open. Although I will tell you, it's a little frustrating on both the Kohberger and the Daybell side, the amount of things that are sealed. Okay, in Kohberger's lost his appeal, and yet he did win that appeal would, to appeal to the higher court. They won't even hear it, but they did agree to seal their motion so that it couldn't be prejudicial. So we don't even get to read like the argument or anything. The whole thing is sealed currently now. So there you go. Yes, it's going to be April 1st, Juju. His trial is that close. Yep. Daybell. And I hope to see some of you spending some time keeping me company. I am going to, Juju. It's April 1st. It is, let me put that call me note. I will be April 1st, 9 a.m. Yep. Yes, I will be here at trial start. Now, they did say the questioning and everything, that a lot of the voir dire that is confidential will not be streamed, but some of it will. Right now, it's just defense and defendant, the counsel and defendant, not defense, the defense, prosecution, and the defendant, Yes, April Fool's Day. Exactly, Mark. Although when you're watching it, it will be the 2nd, so you'll be free of all the pranks, like, right? It'll be the day after for you. There you go. All right, so let me just take that down. Now, I wasn't going to stay here long, so let me get to another one. I'll take questions, okay? Thank you, Sean, and hello, Oh, thank you, Sue. And I'm, I will enjoy the company having people in the chat. That would be wonderful. And I hope everything goes well with the surgeries. I really do. Now let's, all right. The last thing I wanted to talk about, and you could still put questions in there in regards to Kohberger in Daybell, and I'll come back to them. I promise at the end. But I want to move on to this guy. I did not. The last thing I wanted to do. Also, here's the document on the voir dire in regards to Chad Daybell. It's quite an interesting read for those of you that are a little legally minded like myself. They just like this kind of stuff. It was an interesting read as to why he chose to do what he did. Okay. And I did say we have another hearing coming up on Kohberger on May 14th. It's in the afternoon, or 1:30 Pacific time. So I'll calculate that is, if it's going to be filmed, I will probably try to stream it based on the time. Don't know for sure, but I'll do a community post on that as soon as I can. Now, in regards to the next guy that I want to talk about, I don't really want to talk about him. Tate will not stay out of the news this week. He tasked me. Me too, because as soon as I thought I was all caught up, Juju, nope, there's more information. And unfortunately, the amount of misinformation out there, it just makes me crazy, and it makes me have to come forward with all of this like right away, because it's nuts. It's really nuts what they try to put out there. Well, the last time that we talked, we spoke in regards to the charges in the UK, in that all that we knew really was that, let me just share this. All we knew then was that the UK had issued a warrant. Romania had a hearing issued. They would honor the warrant for arrest. They held them overnight. The next day there was a hearing. They released them, but they are still under judicial review, which was continued, by the way. And they did have a hearing today that we're going to talk about. But there's not a lot of additional information except for to say what the charges are actually about. Now, Tate's camp immediately came out, and we talked about this, and said this is the old civil suit. These charges were dropped way back then. It's from 2012 to 2015, which, yes, it is. The time frame stays the same. The victims does not. Okay, since the last we talked, there's been actually an issued statement from the original civil suit case, the original 4 women in the UK that are filing a civil suit against Andrew Tate, Tristan Tate, and others in regards to how, sexual abuse or being held against their will, etc. Okay, extortion, even because the charges were not pursued by the UK government back into 2017 and 2019. This is why they did the civil suit, because they brought everything to the government and they didn't do anything. And so they brought their civil suit. However, since then, the investigation apparently continued, okay, because as they're saying here, more than 20 complaints registered in the UK. Okay, judicial sources said for the thought, which is the English prosecutors informed the authorities of our country that a total of 21 complaints were made on behalf of the two for rape and sexual assault. The quoted sources specified that some of the victims were drugged and later subjected to sexual perversions, some of which were excruciating, and the deeds were committed in the period 2012 to 2015. The same sources said that each of these complaints could bring to the Tate brothers life sentences, provided that the British court is ruthless against sexual offenses. In turn, the Tate brothers' lawyers claim that the accusations brought on behalf of the two millionaires are unfounded and date from 2012 to 2015, after they were rejected in the period of 2017 and 2019. However, the only ones that were rejected were the original four. These are additional. This is additional charges for additional complaints. Okay, that's the one misconception there that I wanted to clear up. It's not the same case. It is not related to the civil case. Okay. The other thing I want to say is, well, I'll share you this. This I found a little bit, just a little bit amusing. I don't know if you will, but I did. And also, kind of like, what did you expect? Okay. The Tate brothers, okay, a Romanian has confirmed this is the airport where they have found that they have posted the Tate's pictures in the airports in Romania because of flight risk. The chances of them getting off of judicial supervision would seem are going to be pretty small, since their photos are actually now in all the airports, just in case. And I ask you all, hello chat, hello YouTube, and Twitter, X, whatever you call that over there. Do you think that had anything to do with Aiden Ross reading his text message and the massive amount of reports that went forward about it? Everybody wanted to make sure the Romanian government knew that Andrew had said that he might be leaving the country. Well, now that's kind of mute because, where is he going to go? There's a UK warrant out too. They'll also be looking for him. So you've got many more extradition worries than you had. Romania didn't have that many of them agreements with other countries, but the UK certainly does. And we wonder, like, what other charges, may be coming forward. Just so, like, there's more than just that tweet, obviously, to show that they're in the airport. I actually have a picture of it being shown in that actual airport. So hold on one second, because I'll show you that. Because they worry about people not actually taking this stuff seriously, because they're all constantly being approached by Tate supporters that they are absolutely not telling the truth about any of this. And I do go a lot to, I think I've mentioned and I've linked this account many times on Murder by Crayons, and they actually double check this stuff with people in Romania and sources. They are actually working very well with an actual journalist who follows human trafficking court cases and actually got onto the Tate case based on the filings, and keeps reporting that there will be new charges coming forth, because one of the other rumors is that the women are saying they're not victims and they want to recant. Well, that could have a lot to do with the alleged new charges coming forward that are said to actually indicate harassment and intimidation of witnesses, trying to get women to psych. And also that Tristan's girlfriend, the mother of one of his children, who had a lot of these assets transferred to her name, is also on the list now to come in and testify for next week when they go over the assets, because this week they could not decide on returning the assets because it's false that he has them back yet. He's in the process of getting them back. The appeals court said he could petition to get them back based on a technicality in the law that wasn't properly handled. And so he is petitioning to get them back. But in the meantime, they transferred quite a few of the assets into others' names. And there is some confusion because some of them are in, like, like say, I heard that the Bugatti, for instance, might have been leased. So the leasing company would actually own the vehicle. So they really shouldn't hold it. Like, it could be released and returned to the leasing company. In several other things that were in other women's names. And also I heard that the one mother of one of his children's, her actual mother, will be on the witness list and maybe added as a victim. Now, here's the thing. When they say that these people don't want to be listed as victims or be part of the trial, that's true. They give their statements and they can pull back. And one of the actual 5 that gave actual affidavits did say that. She said the harassment in the base of it, she did not want to be part of the trial. Okay. And I can understand that, like, everybody has that choice, but whether they can prosecute anyway for those crimes is up to Romania, like it is here in the United States. If a wrong is happening, you don't necessarily need the person that the wrong happened to. Of course, it's beneficial if they would actually come into the court to testify. Okay, but they still can hold up this mantle on who did what to who. Okay, and they can subpoena and they can do what they want because, as it is, they have a right to face their accusers. So there's that problem if they don't want to come into the court. But also, there is the tracking and the history of the documentation that may just be used anyway without the affidavit from the witness. You know what I mean? Like, it could still happen. Anyway, here is the proof that their actual pictures are coming up at the airport, or at least this is what is circulating. Okay. Am I able to prove that this is actually there? No. But this account has gone through a lot to prove it before, so I'm going to trust them. They got it from the actual someone in Romania actually sent it to them, and they actually confirmed that that is the airport and everything by the journalist and all, but whether, he wasn't there and saw it himself. But oh, thank you very much, Shill. Shill says, all hell Quizmaster of Games in Discord. It's been a fun week. Great perk for being a member or collaborative creator for Claire. Thank you, Shill. And I happen to think it's a great perk too. And thank you for that. Thank you for that message. I'm sure Quiz appreciates being acknowledged. Yes. I mean, they aren't stupid, so why would they read that text out to the public? I'm suspicious. Exactly. I don't understand why Aiden would do such a thing myself. Really. Let me get this down now that we're done. But it did seem quite dumb to me, but also could have been calculated. I don't know. Maybe they wanted to bring more things to a head, mess things up a little bit. I don't see a positive to it as to why. But all I know is it happened and he read it out loud. It's going to be pretty hard for him to claim that he's being misquoted or misread. He actually read it, word for word as he was reading it. So he can't say that he like misspoke or whatever. Like, it's going to be difficult to try to back out of that one now. Okay, so the hearing that happened today, which was twofold. First of all, they're still looking at all of the information as the process with the multi-panel judge. Okay, looking at everything as far as the case to go through the process. The case was supposed to be looked at in depth today and a decision to be made. They have held that decision for another week or two. They will be putting it forward. And there's 3 things that could happen. And this is the Twitter handle of a journalist who follows human trafficking cases in Romania. Okay. Now, the judge, he says, has three options based on that they've held decision on this for another week. Allow some or all of the legal objections raised by Tate's lawyers. He says his, but he means the Tate team, and set a new date for another preliminary chamber hearing, meaning they could allow objections that are being made to certain things in regards to the case, and could allow for another hearing to hear both sides again. They could also reject all those objections, close the preliminary phase, and set a trial date. Like they could say they've heard enough, they've seen enough, and they're now ready to move forward. Or if they have questions in regards to any part of the case, they could send it back to the DIICOT for clarification and for what they call revamping or redoing. Like if there's any legal issue, if there's any question on certain matter of the charges, if they feel there's insufficient evidence in any way. Okay, so those are the three things that can happen. It could move forward, it could get like scheduled for another hearing, or it could get sent back to DCOT and have to start this preliminary process all over again. Okay. Now, I'm not sure if it gets sent back to DCOT, what would happen, whether they would be released from judicial control. I think the indictment still stands. I just think there might be questions. There's two ways it could be back, dismissed or with questions. So we'll see. I'm not really up on how procedures go in Romania. So we are definitely actually we are definitely actually depending on this journalist. And I'm sorry, I didn't realize I didn't have the whole thing up because I was actually looking at it on another tab. My apologies. But those are the three things that he is reporting could happen that are standard procedure in Romania in this type of a case. Turtle Move said, just a reminder that the UK doesn't have a statute of limitations. Oops, nope, they don't. They do not. So it's not going to get tossed for that. Thank you, Turtle, for the clarification. Yeah, I agree. They're not stupid, Juju. Actually, I think they are quite clever, and it kind of, yeah, watch the airports and then they get away in a yacht. I hear you. I hear you. I think he wasn't thinking when read it out loud, because if you watch, it's almost like he realizes what it means as he reads it. Exactly. And I think he knows he kind of messed up. I think he did realize that he messed up. Welcome, Fishnet. Thanks for listening. All right, so I'm going to look for questions because I did want to just do a short one today, but those guys, I just needed to tie up some loose ends on those three. There were some movements and all, and to just clarify that I am going forward with the Chad Daybell trial, as I will with the Kohberger trial when it ever happens, if it stays open to the public, which it looks like it will be so far. But on that. And on Tate, unfortunately, we will see nothing of the trial in Romania that I'm aware of, but we will still keep reporting on this. Now, there's a lot of misinformation out there. It's also, you have to be careful too, because when it comes to making posts in regards to Andrew Tate, there has been a lot of pushback from Tate supporters out there. And some of it can be quite harassing and even violent. There was one comment there about the other option would be to kill the witnesses that was put up there on one of the tweets. I think it was on the journalist tweet, and that's uncalled for. They're getting a little crazy about this. We're really just trying to put both sides of the information out. I have been telling everyone that the Tates are telling a totally different story, and they can say what they want. We're just putting both sides of it out there. It's up to you guys to decide. I personally think there's a little bit of twist on the Tate end, but they are defending themselves, and so, of course, there will be. Is there not a little bit of twist on both sides? Don't we love to twist it a little bit up about how silly it is, when we put the misinformation up? Of course we do. But we want to put both sides of it out there. The Tate News is saying that these women are all saying they're retracting all their statements, and there is no case. Well, however, we've got two new dates for hearings going forward. First of all, the asset returning is going to be not until next week. And then there's not a decision based on this hearing what happened today. There was a lot of people in and out. In one of the reporting, if you go to the gentleman's Twitter, you'll see that he reported that the lawyers were going in and out of there. There was actually a new lawyer who was put on the list, and actually, um, the lawyers looked nervous. There was a lot of activity, people coming and going. It was although it was closed door, it was quite heated, quite an active hearing, and it went longer than usual. He was reporting 2.5 hours in, that it was going much longer than they normally do for this kind of stuff. So yes, they all mippy. I do. And I hate having it. This is the third time I've talked about him in a week. Like I talked about him last week, this week, in the beginning of this week, and then today. Like he's really, but it's because of the amount of confusion and misinformation that keeps coming out. And one of the problems with that is that Romania has closed the records. Like they've sealed stuff. So it's going to be harder to actually get the black and white right from the court. We'll see what happens after they go to trial, if that will remain. I'm hoping not, so that we can actually see for ourselves and not just through the reporting of the Romanian journalists and, people that are there and people that are getting the information, because we do, not that we don't believe them, because of course, like I haven't seen that they put anything out that's false, but you know me, I like to dot the I's and cross the T's and give you everything that you can to make your own decisions on it. Well, on that, I think I'm going to actually close off, but I would like to remind those of you that I do have another stream tonight in about a half hour. Here's the link if you didn't see it already. I'll be coming back with Mrs. C and we'll be doing something fun for a little bit. But I'm going to take a little bit of a break in between. I thank you all for joining me for this very short little update. And as always, should you be listening later or you think of a question in regards to these three gentlemen in their hearings, motions, and trial dates, hit the back of the video. Not only will you be helping the algorithm, I do enjoy the interaction, and I would really go out of my way to try to answer your question the best that I can. So on that, don't forget to like, share, all of that. If you'd like to become a member, the links are all down below in the description, and also put in the chat periodically by our mod Shield there, who promotes it out there. And if you are already a member and not part of the Discord, please hit me up with your ID. I'll get you your invite sent right away. I'm a little behind in putting the monthly post out there with the link for members, but even gifted members are invited to join. We do a lot of crime talk in there, a lot of general talk too, but we also have a room for every single case, so that help keep you up to date on all of this and give you all the information that would be impossible for me to give you every little drop of it right here in links and everything, on a stream. But there's more information in those for those serious true crime people that really want to keep it going. I do believe in sharing the information. So on that, have a great night, and hopefully I will see you later.